There we go. Holy shit, we're already live. I don't know how it went live already, but yep. So, I'm back.
Hi, I'm Tyler.
And I'm CJ.
All right.
It's going to be a small podcast today.
It's going to be a real small podcast today. It's like, what was that? Like 2 or 3 weeks ago when it was literally just me and CJ. Now we got plus one more person.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So, what have people been up to, yo?
CJ, I'll let you lead off.
Okay. I just because Fall Guys is that the game?
Yes.
So for PlayStation, because I'm a console plebe, it is free right now for PlayStation.
Yep.
So I have downloaded it and been playing the shit out of that when I'm not playing Destiny. And oh my god, it is so goddamn fun. I hate the group activities because, well, okay, it kind of borderlines. It's kind of a 50-50. Like sometimes you got a group of people who are competent and know what they're doing, but then you got another group that's just kind of worthless, and you're just like, well, we're gonna lose this.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But other than that, it is. I can see the appeal and the fun of this game. It is just. I just love playing it. Just the risk reward, the adrenaline if you're gonna fucking make it or not, and just the getting screwed over by the most minute thing.
Yeah.
But it's
That's
so
nice
fun.
to hear. Yeah, I have it on PC. I haven't really had anyone to play it with yet. So I haven't gotten to play around in it, but I do want to play it.
Yeah, again, it's one of those. It's on my list. I need to just go ahead, pull the trigger, and buy it.
Yeah.
I can see, like I said, the reason why it's so hyped right now. I get the point of why it's so fun.
Yeah.
And then if you, like you said, if you can get a whole group of people getting into it, it's one of those things where you're just like at the end of it, did you make it? And you're just like, you're silent, like, no, I didn't.
No, I didn't.
Just like a slight amount of defeat. Just, no.
But
oh wow, the other free game is Modern Warfare 2 campaign.
Oh yeah, which I was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, a little bit. Oops. But yeah. I'm assuming you're going to want to talk a little bit about Destiny because of what's going on right now. But we'll get back to that one here in a second. But
that's fine.
Tyler, what you've been playing?
Well,
Nice getting Corey hooked on World of Warcraft again.
Yeah, I'm actually really upset that he's not here this week because I really wanted to chat with him about that. No, so a lot of World of Warcraft. Again, week 3 of no beta invite club.
That's right.
Sad panda noises. Yeah, a lot of World of Warcraft. Been doing end of expansion housekeeping. Mostly, I went through and I deleted like 8 characters off of old realms that I never play on anymore.
I gotcha.
I have moved about half of my stable over to the new server I'm going to be playing on. Let's see. I started cleaning out banks, bags on characters that I don't play often. Like characters that I've gotten to level 120 and I don't have any plans to touch the rest of Battle for Azeroth. Just basically clearing them out and getting them ready for when Shadowlands drops so that I can just log in and zerg them to level 60. I don't have to worry about, oh shit, this character, I have to go and spend 10 minutes cleaning the bags out and cleaning my bank space out because now I don't have inventory space. So just housekeeping stuff like that.
Yeah.
Working on seeing as how there's not really a lot of content available.
Yeah,
I
can see
say
that.
I say that with a loaded tone. There is still a lot of content, a lot of things to do in the game. There are things that would keep me logging in daily. But in terms of what I want to complete for BFA content, I have done just about everything I want to do. So I've started going back and completing old achievements. Me and Acturi the other day went back and did all the achievements for the Firelands raid and got the purple Firehawk from the meta achievement. You know, things like that. Let's see. My guild is now 3 out of 12 on Mythic progression, so
Holy shit,
that's cool.
Yeah, that's good.
And I just want to give it, take this opportunity to give a shout out to the people that I play with, because they're serious about the game, but they're casual enough to not be assholes. And we were doing the raid the other night. It was Saturday night. We had done our 3 mythic bosses, and we had converted back to heroic to finish up the last 2 bosses of the raid from the night before.
How many players in the raid?
Mythic is 20, but for heroic, we typically scale up to like 26, 27 because of other people that we pull in.
Right.
Oh, and also we went 3 of 12 on Mythic, missing our top 3 DPS.
Shit.
Who were just like,
really good.
Like, hey, we're not going to be able to make it this week. Good luck, and we still managed to do it. Give me 1 second, guys.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Nice. My girlfriend's playing jokes. Yeah. Hamburger, help me. You have to write it backwards though because it flips.
Oh.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, but so we converted back to heroic, and we downed the second to last boss, and we get to the final boss room, and we wiped 3 times. Okay.
Oh,
because we have people in the group that are under geared, and we're sort of carrying them. Raid leader and guild leader have no problem doing that. They want people to be there to get. They're more concerned about people getting experience than they are about people being geared. At this point in the expansion, it's not hardcore progression.
Right.
So we're sitting there.
It's one of those where like them being under geared, they're still learning the mechanics. They're still learning the stuff. That way they can help out later when need be and all that stuff.
Exactly. So we're in the process of doing that, and we wiped 3 times. And so the raid leader is like, okay, guys, we're going to give it another pull. But if we don't down him this time, I'm going to start asking some people to step out for this week. We will work with you to get you better gear, and then next week hopefully you'll be at a point where you can contribute a little bit more, and you can stay in for the completion of the run, which he's done to me 2 weeks in a row. He's asked me to step out, and he's like, hey, next week when we run, I got you a spot. I guarantee you I will get you in on the heroic kill. You'll be here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, no problem, man. I'll get better gear over the course of the week. I'll be in a better position to assist. But we're sitting there, and we're about to pull for the 4th time, and one of these guys in the group, he calls out distraction, right?
Yeah.
Because distraction was raiding with us because we were in heroic. Recommended eye level for heroic is like 460. Distraction at the time was like 427.
Gotcha.
So he was not pulling high enough DPS, and his eye level was low. Again, that's not a problem. There's no barrier to entry for this guild. They would rather you get the experience than be a perfect raider.
Yeah.
This random guy in the group, he's not a part of the guild, but he's friends with guild mates, and he just gets pulled along with the raids because he wants to. He starts calling distraction out in raid chat and is like, well, it would be easier if we weren't carrying this guy who doesn't know the mechanics, who's not geared, who hasn't been here before. He's holding us back. And the raid leader was like, okay, we all understand that, but you don't have to be an asshole about it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a dick about it.
Yeah.
And then the raid leader and the guild leader found out that this guy was in Discord, because that's a prerequisite for the raids. That's the only thing. If you want to raid with the group, you just have to be in the Discord. You don't have to talk. You just have to be there to listen to callouts.
Yeah.
This guy was in Discord. He had muted himself and deafened himself.
So he couldn't listen to anything at all in any way, shape, or form.
So there was no point in him even being in the Discord, and we had been having some issues with him. He was, in previous weeks, and the guild leader and the raid leader were like, "Do we need him?" And it took a second, and they were like, "Nah." He was booted from the raid. He was booted from the Discord, and he was banned from all future runs with the guild.
Shit.
And it literally took them maybe 60 seconds to resolve this issue. From the moment he made that first comment about distraction being undergeared and the fact that we would be better off without him, within 60 seconds they were like, "Yeah, you're gone. Get out." and that moment right there was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna hang out with these people for probably the entirety of Shadowlands.
Oh yeah, minimum.
Oh yeah, like,
and it's immediate. Just you can tell that they're serious about playing the game, but they're not assholes about it. And that's
right.
that was just a bit of a renewed faith in the community of World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
But now to get off of that tangent, I got back into Magic the Gathering last night.
oh, nice.
Nick knows about this, but I went out to a friend's house, a friend that's on the Discord server. They sent me a message on Discord and were like, "Hey, you want to hang out tonight?" And I was like, maybe. And then another one of them messaged and he's like, "Hey, if you come over and hang out tonight, I'll buy you a commander deck."
Oh, nice.
And I was like, "I'll be there in an hour." So I went over.
I gotta ask, what commander are you running?
Oh fuck, what's his name? I should have him. Nope, that's the wrong box. I know his name, but I don't know his name. Gearred, Conclave Exile.
Okay.
2/5 human shaman. When he enters the battlefield, create a 4/4 green rhino creature token with trample. And whenever he attacks, populate. So whenever he attacks, I can create a token that's a copy of a creature token I already control. And the one that he creates enters the battlefield tapped, but attacking.
Oh,
so
nice.
I can automatically attack with it every time I attack with him. So the commander deck they bought me is green, white, red tricolor.
I was gonna say he's a green, white, red, so I was assuming that's what you were running.
Yep, green, white, red. And then I was like, you know what? That was a lot of fun. We played till like 6:30 in the morning. I woke up fucking exhausted today. But I went to Game Preserve and I bought a bunch of card sleeves, and I bought like $40 in booster packs because fuck, why not? And then remembered that Game Preserve has point system, and so I got like $20 off my purchase and ended up paying like $35 for card sleeves and another 120 cards. So yeah, got back into that.
Well, welcome back.
Yeah, I'm excited. Beyond that, really, I mean, it's mostly just been World of Warcraft. That's been consuming my existence. I did play. Me and Nick, we played a little bit of Destiny over the past week. We played some Crucible, and it's good to know that I've still got it when it comes to Crucible.
Yeah, you're a bit of a tear there for a bit.
Yeah. So other than that, though, that's really been the extent of my playing this week. So before
like back to Magic. So you're playing Commander. Do you know what Commander used to be originally titled as a game type?
No.
It used to be called EDH.
Okay.
Or Elder Dragon. It was Elder Dragon Head, right?
Yeah.
but then like everybody thought like EDH was too hard apparently to figure out. So then they started calling it Commander, and then now it's just been created as Commander. But I find it funny, like I used to play it back when it was EDH, and then somebody was like, "Oh, hey, you want to play some Magic?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And they were like, "Okay, how do you want to play?" I was like, "I don't care." And they were like, "All right, let's play Commander." I was like, "What the fuck is Commander?" And then we sat down and started going through all the rules and everything. I was like, "This sounds like EDH," and they were like, "What the hell is EDH?" And I was like, "I am apparently really fucking old."
Yeah, I didn't. The thing is, I think the last time that I actually played Magic was like 2010, maybe.
Jeez.
Like it's been a while since I've like actively been involved in it.
Yeah.
And even then, when I was actively involved in it, I had a single like pre-built deck that I bought from Game Preserve. And that was the only thing I ever played with. I never bought any other cards. I never did anything else. If I wanted to expand, I used my friends' collection because some of my high school friends had binders on binders on binders on binders on binders.
I was gonna say I have like boxes of boxes of boxes.
I think one of my friends in high school, he lives on the West Coast now. I think he had close to like 10,000 cards at one point, just decks on decks on decks.
Yeah.
And so I would always go over, and he would literally just shuffle his decks and be like, okay, draw 100 cards out of this. Okay, draw 100 cards out of this. Draw 100 cards out of this. And now, okay, pick a deck you want to play, and let's play.
Yeah.
But no, it was a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed it. They were good teachers, and I got my ass kicked the first game,
Right.
and then I spent we did 30 health. It was a 4-person free for all with 30 health. I was out like within 4 or 5 rounds just because they were the way their power distribution was going. I was getting fucked. So the game went on for another hour, and I spent that hour doing nothing but shuffling my deck over and over and over and over again. That game ended, and I challenged one of the guys to a 1v1 and kicked his ass.
Nice.
So, yeah, pretty happy with it. But yeah, I would say before we get into news, Nick, what have you been playing besides Destiny?
Well, Destiny, more Destiny. Some Solstice of Heroes is going on right now, so that's what I'm in the process of trying to update this. So me and fucking CJ can go and try to get our questing done for our Solstice armor. I really like the way they're doing it this year because the way it's set up, instead of like you get the armor and then you do the quest and you level it up and that's that, and oh, you have this armor, and then next season, you had the armor, now it's completely useless.
Yeah.
The way they're doing it now is you'll actually get you get the armor with the glows as universal ornaments.
Yep.
So you can make any legendaries look like that.
Nice. Is it the same Solstice armor and the same glows as last season?
It is completely different.
Ah.
And on top of that is the glows. Instead of, oh, I want the blue glows, so I'm going to apply all the blue glows. Okay, and now I want the purple glows, so I'm going to apply all the purple glows. It changes based on your subclass.
Yep.
Okay, so whatever subclass you have equipped, it just automatically uses that glow.
Automatically switches to those.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
which is cool because like already the way it was set up is if your subclass matched the glows were brighter and more vibrant. Now you just constantly have the glows, and then they change based on your subclass.
Interesting.
And again, like the fact that they're set up as the universal ornaments, I really like, because that makes it so that way it's not like, oh, the new expansion's coming out. Okay, you had this stuff, now it's useless. Don't ever use it again. Because I still have my entire Solstice set from last season.
Nice.
Yeah.
My inventory and everything like that. So, but again, it's useless. So,
One thing I don't just want to add to that. A lot of people were worried about with the new expansion coming out with the new ability class. Your armor will actually have a glow for it as well.
yes.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, because a lot of people were worried about like, well, if we get the armor now and all that jazz, they were worried about, like, well, that's going to be lame if it only sets to these 3 and then we get this new class and then it doesn't do the same thing. But no, they've explained, like, once it comes out, like you said, it's kind of a universal thing. So whatever subclass you are in, it'll change to that.
That's cool. That's really cool.
And then I'm gonna say a very interesting non-gaming thing. Right before this podcast, while Adrian and I were watching dinner, we watched an episode of a television series.
While you were watching dinner?
We were eating dinner, watching a show. Sorry. Whiskey. Anyway, so we watched the first episode of a television series. I had not heard anything too much going into it. Adrian read a review about it and made it sound like it was going to be very meh.
What was this again?
We watched the first episode of what is it called? Lower Decks.
Oh yeah, I've seen advertisements for that.
Holy fucking shit! This is probably my favorite new cartoon on television.
Okay.
Like, it's so good. The review that Adrian read basically was saying that basically they were comparing it to Rick and Morty, but without the heart of Rick and Morty.
Okay.
I viewed it, and I know this is probably going over both of your heads because I don't think you guys have ever seen this show, but it's almost like they took Camp and infused it with Star Trek, and I love it. I'm a little depressed that it's a weekly show because, like, when I looked it up, it was like, 10 episodes. I'm like, sweet. We watched the first episode, and I went to click on the second episode, and it was like, oh, yep, that'll air next week. Or
Aww.
it airs tomorrow.
Well, still, aw.
So it's like, motherfuckers, we gotta wait for it, but it's really good.
Nice.
It's
That's
really
good to
good.
hear.
Like, it's got the it's got the heart and soul of Star Trek, but still has the slightly over the top like humor of, say, Family Guy and that kind of stuff. Which that's another thing is
Yeah.
the view that she read was comparing it also a little bit to Orville, which is Seth MacFarlane's Star Trek. And the person that was doing the review hates the Orville, which the Orville. So I was hoping that was going to end up being a good thing, and yeah, it is. It is definitely.
Oh yeah, the Orville, I love it. Like,
the Orville is a perfect television series, and I love, like, they have just small little like guest appearances and cameos that just like when one of the characters, her dad is the doctor from Voyager. And so, like, just the episodes of him just randomly popping in and stuff like that, it's just like little random stuff like that. I don't know. It just
warms your heart.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, my whole thing on it, when just to get on Orville for a second, is when I first heard about it, I thought it was just going to be Family Guy, but with Star Trek. But it's actually like really more like Star Trek with a little bit of Family Guy involved, and I think that they balanced it with the humor and like the action really well.
Like, yes, don't get me wrong. There's occasional dick and fart jokes.
Yeah.
But with that being said, they kind of use that almost as comic relief because there are some episodes that are just straight up depressing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There are some episodes that are very very akin to what the fuck is that show? Black Mirror.
Ah.
And it really brings a new thing to it because it's like, oh, like this definitely feels like an episode of Black Mirror, but at the same time it feels like an episode of Next Gen.
Oh yeah.
With a little more humor. So I don't know. The Orville is an amazing television series. I cannot wait for it to come back. It's coming back. I think they said December. But it got canceled from Fox, but it was canceled from Fox so that way Disney could, because Disney owns Fox now.
Yeah.
So they used that to cancel it from Fox and switch it to Hulu because they wanted to do the same kind of thing where not to go too deep into it, but there's a whole thing with it with gender identity, and apparently they were really pushing a line with what they could get away with.
Yeah.
So by moving it to Hulu, they can actually explore more stuff along that route that, okay, this probably isn't like allowed on regular daytime network television, or not network television, but I mean like local channels.
Yeah.
But they can get away with on Hulu. So they are moving to a mature rating on it. But it's more for, it sounds really weird to say, but it's more for subject matter and less for subject matter. Like it's more so they can tackle issues and less for, it's Seth MacFarlane, let's see how many times we can say fuck in an episode.
True.
Yeah.
Like they're doing it for all the right reasons, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Like
So,
I think the one joke, I forget what season or what episode it was, but they're identifying a black hole, and he calls it a glory hole, or like that's what they said in like flight school. And then Boris, I think his name is.
Yes.
It was just like, can we enter the glory hole? And I was just like, that's tongue in cheek. That's actually pretty funny. Like,
Yeah.
so just like they sprinkle little amounts of like humor like that in it, and it's not too over the top, but it's just right.
Right, exactly. Or like the entire episode where like they make the most unrelatable characters still relatable. Like the whole like the entire episode that revolves around Boris having a porn addiction.
Huh?
Yeah,
It's just is amazing. And the way it's done, again, it's not like, oh haha, caca, poo poo, pee pee, wieners and vaginas.
Yes.
It like actually is a well structured episode and is following everything. And it just, I don't know, the writing on that show is just amazing. And it also helps that a lot of the writers and directors and producers of the show are Star Trek alum.
Yep.
So like what is her name? I can't remember her name. The woman that plays B'Elanna Torres in Star Trek Voyager directed like 3 of the episodes. Fuck. Who's the Commander Riker directed like 2 or 3 of the episodes.
Nice.
So like it's got a lot of people that previously worked on Next Generation, on Voyager and Deep Space Nine and stuff like that. It's got a lot of people coming into it, and it makes it feel more like a, polished Star Trek product as opposed to, Seth MacFarlane has a sci-fi show.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna get flack for it, but I feel like just the Orville is way better than Picard. Just
I can't say that because I loved every bit of Picard, but I love Picard in a completely different way than I love the Orville. The Orville is a better Star Trek show, but I think the Orville is better at being a Star Trek series, but I think Picard is still an incredible series in its own right. Like it's kind of the whole what was it, like Assassin's Creed Black Flag. A lot of people, it's not an Assassin's Creed game, right? It may not be an Assassin's Creed game,
but it's still a good game.
Fucking amazing game, and you cannot discredit it for that,
because it's the same Halo argument we had last podcast.
Yeah, exactly. That was the example. I was like, we were just talking about this. I was trying to remember the example we had. But no, 100%.
Yeah, I'm really far behind on some shows like that. I've watched a couple episodes of Orville, and never really finished it. I haven't watched Picard. What's the other new Star Trek that's out? Like,
Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, that I haven't watched that yet.
I haven't seen Discovery yet, but I heard very mixed reviews about Discovery because I heard some people like hated the first season, but then like when the second season came out, they were like, oh, now this makes sense as to why they did this like this.
Yeah. So I mean, I haven't seen those, but me and Morgan are watching through Mr. Robot right
I
now.
need to sit down and watch that show. Corey's been trying to get me to watch it for
The
years.
first season is really good. And it's one of those that it sort of confuses you like the entire time the first season's going on. And then the last episode, it just dumps all this stuff on you and the entire season starts to make sense. And
so it's Westworld season 2.
yes, but we are starting season 2 and season 2, they are going like we watched the first 2 episodes in bed one night and that shit got dark as fuck super quick. And I was like, me and Morgan looked at each other a couple times and we were like, is this the same show? But you can definitely tell that the first season was like hey, let's feel the waters. Let's see where we can go. And
Let's see
then
what we can do, and then okay, now we know.
they got a good response from the fans, and then they were like, okay, season 2, balls to the wall, and it just shows. But yeah, that's that one's good. We're probably going to start after Mr. Robot. We're probably going to start Perry Mason. Looks really good.
Looks so fucking good, and it's right up my alley, especially with
it
Vale.
is. But yeah, it looks like something we want to do. But yeah, anything else you've been playing there, Nick?
Yeah, but I probably shouldn't talk about it.
Roger that.
Mostly from the perspective of it's rated AO. It's
Gotcha.
not.
You remember? You've been playing Honey Pop again?
No, but do you remember when I was like, "Hey, so Steam recommended a game to me"?
Oh fuck yeah!
Up. It's really good.
That's good to hear.
I never thought I would say that about a visual novel, but it has a. I guess without going too much into content,
he's playing it for the plot.
Of course.
Sadly enough, it didn't start that way, but it definitely remained that way. Like it was one of those where like I started playing it and I was like, okay, I'm playing this because stuff and reasons, and then about 4 hours into this, I'm like, actually, this is really interesting writing, and I'm kind of curious to see where this goes story wise.
That's a long ass wank, my friend.
The wank was done like 15 minutes. Like I'm like it was. I don't because basically the storyline for this game is you're a student at a college and there's a new Oh, CJ, do you not? Oh, because you're in the middle of a match right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in a strike.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, give me. I
tried to join on you, and it was like, oh, go through this, do this. Oh, no open spots. But no, anyway, no. So it's one of those where it's like, basically, you're a student at a college. And there's a new app that everybody's using that is like a weird, it's like not really like a dating app, but it's a social media app where every day you get sexual challenges that you have to complete, and you have to upload video or picture proof of you completing these challenges, and then you get points. And you can turn in the points to see like your friends' videos and pictures and stuff like that, or you can save up your points and spend them all to go to like a crazy orgy that's hosted at the end of the week and all this other stuff.
It just blows my mind that like Steam finally was just like, you know what, fuck it, we can make so much money if we actually just allow these games on the store. And it's like, it's really funny because the first time it happened, I was going through my queue and one of those games popped up, and at the time I hadn't heard that Steam allowed those games. And so I'm going through my queue and I'm like, what the fuck I'm on Steam, right? And I was looking, and I was like, I'm not on a different website. But no, and I looked at it like what I actually clicked on it and looked at it, and I was like, huh. so Steam allows this shit now.
Yeah.
And then literally ever since then, at least one game in my queue fits like the adult only, sex game. And I'm just like, all right, Steam, I see your ploy.
But see, what's interesting with this is, so the way it's done, you get weekly challenges. And the other thing, so the game is called Fetish Locator because you input your fetishes and then it finds other people with those fetishes in the area and then creates like challenges based off of like, oh, these two characters like this, so let's make the challenge of the day this and see if they hook up and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, basic premise for a game, whatever. But then like one of your friends who's never been that slutty is a major whore and starts fucking everybody on campus and doing everything she can to get these points. And it's like, that's weird. She's never been like this. Why is she doing this? And blah, 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 blah. And then like, it turns out that the app has video and pictures of her doing stuff that she doesn't want other people to find out about it. So now the app developer is blackmailing her. And then somebody gets a picture of you that taken out of context looks incredibly bad. So now they're blackmailing you and you have to do this. And then it becomes more of a like conspiracy thriller of trying to figure out who's behind this app and who's blackmailing everybody and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know,
interesting.
Bravo. This started as a basic wank session. And then now I'm stuck in a conspiracy theory fucking rabbit hole. But yeah, no,
very interesting.
Yeah, it's a very interesting storyline, and all that's available right now is the first week. I guess the developer has a Patreon, so every so often he's been creating content and adding it and everything like that. So as he adds the next content, and everything like that, and stuff comes out, more story comes out.
Nice.
So.
So to cycle into the news segment, I think the big one that everyone probably wants to chat about is the and I'm upset that Joe's not able to make it, is the Halo Infinite delay.
Oh yeah.
So I can understand why people are upset.
I can, but when looking into it, they're doing it for the right reasons.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
But here's my thing is, a lot of people are upset. Like, well, fuck, Xbox doesn't have a day one launch title now. It doesn't have, the heavy hitter coming out until next year. And
it does have day one launch titles. Are they up to Halo
levels of fame? Probably not. But it's,
still technically day one when you look at it, Series X will have more games available to play on it than PlayStation 5 by like 3 or 4 times. 100%. Actually, probably even more than that. Because don't get me wrong, you'll have all the stuff where, oh, you bought it on PlayStation 4 within 6 months before the PlayStation 5 came out, you'll get the PlayStation 5 upgrade for free. Like you'll have some of those that kind of beef up their thing, but with Series X, you have literally everything that was on Xbox One is going to be available like that. So it's going to be I don't know. It really sucks because I love Microsoft. I want to support Microsoft, but I probably will not be buying a Series X for the time being. I will eventually be getting one, but my main focus as of right now is going to be a PlayStation 5, even though I don't necessarily need a PlayStation 5. The main goal is like everything I want to play on Series X is coming on PC, so I'll pick it up on PC instead. Therefore, I will have
the big one.
more use for a PS5 than an Xbox One or
so
a Series X.
I'm in the same boat. Like, and I have no ideations of buying a Series X. There's no reason for me to buy a Series X. All the games that I want that are going to be coming out on Series X are going to be available on PC. So there's really no need, especially considering I just don't I just don't play console anymore. I still get text messages every now and then from like Alberto and Mike being like,
Yep.
"Yo, play PUBG with us," and I'm like, I mean, both of you have PCs. If you played PUBG on computer, I would play, but I'm not playing on Xbox.
Right.
And I haven't turned my Xbox on in fucking 8 months. With it probably has like 47 gigabytes of system updates, and all the games need another 48 gigabytes of updates to the games. And I don't want to go through that just to play a game at 30 frames per second when it looks better and it plays better and it operates better on my PC. Now on the PlayStation side, I will probably get a PS5 down the road. We're talking 2, maybe 3 years once it's, halfway through its life cycle and they release hey, we're releasing the PS5 Slim. And, it's $150 cheaper, and I'll buy that, and then I'll go and get, the Spider-Man expansion and some of the PS5 exclusives that have been announced that I want to play. I'll go and, I'll play them then. But at the end of the day, I think we are rapidly approaching that convergence point between consoles reaching power equivalent for a PC and PCs reaching the price equivalent of consoles, because PC parts have been trending down and down and down. And nowadays, I mean, you can buy, for like $700 or $800, you can buy and build a PC that will outperform a console.
Oh, 100%.
You can go and buy, a cheaper, like $250 not RTX, a Radeon card, small power supply, none of the big bells and whistles. You don't need 32 gigs of RAM. You don't need 5 terabytes of storage. You don't need all that stuff, but you can buy a simple graphics card, a basic motherboard, processor, storage, and you're good to go. And you have a operating gaming PC. And that, I think we're rapidly reaching that point where the differences between PC master race and console plebeian race is rapidly reaching a convergence point. And I think we're going to start seeing a lot more people that were console players moving into the PC space. But at the same time, the console manufacturers are finally, Sony is starting to get the message that people want to be able to play with their friends regardless of the platform.
Oh, yeah.
People are going to pick their favorite platform. Sony fanboys are always going to be Sony fanboys. It doesn't matter if a PC is more popular or more powerful, or if the Xbox is more powerful. They're going to buy a PlayStation because they're Sony fanboys.
Correct.
But they still want to be able to play with their friends that are on PC, or they want to be able to play Fortnite with their friends on Xbox. And I know that Fortnite is cross-platform, but Sony is finally getting the message that cross-platform needs to be more universal.
Until they do stuff like how they're treating Avengers.
Yes, exactly. Until they start doing this dumbass exclusive shit. So I think we're approaching that point where you're going to see a lot less focus around the console wars. And I honestly hope it trends that way. Again, am I upset that I'm not going to get to play Halo this year? Yeah. Am I upset that it's being pushed to next year where I'll be able to enjoy it in its full when it comes out without feeling pressured to also play the new Destiny expansion, Cyberpunk 2077, and the new World of Warcraft expansion all at the same time? Yeah, I'm actually happy about that, because now November that's one less title in November that I have to be like,
I gotta push
shit,
through.
I have to push through and play this. That way it doesn't get spoiled, and so that I can talk about it on the podcast.
Exactly.
It's now I can be like, oh, yeah, that comes out in like 6 months. I can still focus on Shadowlands. I can push through the story of Destiny. I can play some Cyberpunk, and I'm good. So
I love how you're like, I can play the story for Shadowlands. I can play the story for Destiny. I can scratch the surface of Cyberpunk.
Yeah, Cyberpunk's one of those games that we need to have a weekly 5-minute segment on the podcast. Like, okay, it's been 6 months, 2 weeks, and 3 days since Cyberpunk launched, and I'm finally 13% complete. It's gonna be stuff like that where we're all like, oh, where are you at? You're at 11%, bro. I got you beat. I just hit 12% last night.
It's going to be the new Destiny, where every single podcast is going to be like, okay, time to talk about Cyberpunk.
On that note, have either of you watched Night City Wire episode 2 that released earlier this week?
I've seen the second. No,
I've not yet.
You need to watch it because they detail the life paths. So the 3 choices you get at the beginning, either street kid, nomad, or corpo. And they detail like what it means and some of the effects it will have on your playthrough. They all look really cool. But then they did a whole section on guns and how the guns work. If you thought that the gunsmith system in Call of Duty was cool, they have taken the gunsmith system from Call of Duty and injected it full of steroids and made it run on a treadmill for 3 years straight. It looks cool the way the guns operate, and then they were showing gameplay, and this game is going to be gorgeous. This game is going to. I don't think we've seen a game that has been or is going to be this beautiful for a while.
Nice.
It just looks so good. But yeah, apparently everyone on the internet thinks that it's going to be delayed again. Every thread I read on Reddit is like, "Oh, you mean the game that isn't coming out till like March of next year?" Okay, yeah.
Here's my thing. CD Projekt Red, I give them my full support. If they think that it needs a couple more months, absolutely
100%.
I would rather them take the few months and get it where exactly they want it to be, as opposed to releasing the game broken, like every other fucking developer in existence does, and just we'll release it so we can at least get the sales and stuff like that, and then we'll fix it as time goes on.
Yeah.
That's kind of how not necessarily the whole broken thing, but like everybody's comparing the new Avengers game coming out. When does that come out? That comes out in just shy of a month.
Yeah,
go for it.
Oh no, I made you the party leader.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've been sitting here waiting on you. I am so sorry. I am so sorry.
The amount of times we've done that in Destiny, though. The amount of times we've done that.
He sent me a party invite, so I was like, "Oh, okay, he's party leader, whatever. I'll just let him do whatever he's doing."
I did, and I was just like, "I've got most of my stuff done, and I just want to help you." So I'm like, "Okay, so Nick knows what he needs to get done," and so I made you the party leader, and I was just like, "I really need to go back to the tower real quick." Nick,
let's do something.
No, so but everybody's comparing Avengers and saying that Avengers is going to be the new Anthem, and I'm not sure how I feel about that, because
what studio is doing Avengers again?
Square Enix.
Okay, you're gonna have to give me a little bit of slack. I understand like you and Joe's affection for the Marvel series and why like you guys are so hyped. Why you guys are so hyped about the movies and why you're so hyped about this game.
So
this game does not,
from a gameplay perspective,
entice me.
So like the beta that's going on.
Yeah.
To kind of give you an example, so it has 3 different types of missions. So you have the tutorial mission, I guess. So
yeah.
So you have the tutorial mission that you play through. After that, you play through what's called a story mission, which is just a single player experience that you play, and it's 2 characters going through. The mission that you go on is Hulk and Miss Marvel, and Miss Marvel, not to be confused with Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But
I haven't played it because I don't have the game pre-ordered on PlayStation, so I haven't had a chance to play it yet. So this coming weekend, I will probably download the open beta on PlayStation. But everybody was comparing that mission. Everybody that was playing through it was saying very reminiscent of Last of Us storytelling.
Okay.
So some of the missions are very like good, like well done writing, great story, like very impactful, heartfelt, engaging storytelling.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then there's also other mission types that you go through and you play, and those missions are more set up like you're playing basically like Ultimate Alliance. And they said that those, while the gameplay was still fun and everything like that, it just kind of felt like it was becoming the same old.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things are happening where it's just like now everybody's seeing this and they're just like, well, this may end up just becoming a whole thing of Anthem, where they're just trying to go for this thing and then it ends up just being complete utter garbage. So I hope that's not the case.
My
But
my opinion on that, it's Square Enix, and I can't
Your
really
opinion is wrong.
and
There's a Corey.
there's
there
a
we go.
magic Corey.
I can't really think offhand where Square Enix is really not pulled through like on a game. So I really
So again, the people that are saying that it's not going to live up to what they're hoping this game will be are the people that have played the beta and are basing the entire game off of what they've seen in the beta.
that's
And that's not a really good way to do that.
yeah, I completely agree, because if I don't know, it's one of the things where it's a beta for a reason, and like
100%.
I feel like we've gotten into a situation or a kind of mindset where the second we get a beta, we instantly think, oh, this is going to be the game. This is going to help play. I'm like, that. No, the point of a beta is to just give an example of what they're going to present and then take back the feedback and then make it better. Like they're just giving us a preview of the game so they can make it better for us. And people will take that as, oh, no, this is what the game's going to be like. No, this is going to be terrible. They're going to like, no, just stop.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, we're seeing a lot of the same stuff with like the Shadowlands beta going on there. People are playing the beta and they're like, oh, this system's going to suck. This system's going to suck. This system's going to suck. And
You're seeing the most basic first iteration of it.
exactly. This is an expansion that's supposed to have a 2-year lifespan with 3 major content patch cycles and 3 smaller minor content patch cycles. Like what you are seeing on the beta is the absolute infancy of these systems. And you're basing an entire 2-year game lifespan off of basically what is the first like 10% of the expansion, and it's just not conducive to positive feedback.
Oh yeah. And the worst part is, when people with all these negative like comments on a beta, the newer players who were interested in getting like, oh, this looks interesting, are taking that information and be like, well, all these people are saying this is terrible or this isn't going to be good. I'm like, and they're like pushing them away from actually getting into it. I'm like,
Exactly.
that's just the worst thing. Like,
It's unfortunate where the gaming community has sort of ended up in recent years in terms of like how people have handled beta feedback, or let me beta feedback. And it's more in terms of people are just like, oh, this is what the game's going to be. I hate it. I'm not going to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't use it as a platform to like voice their concerns and say, hey, this doesn't feel good. Maybe it should be tweaked a little bit. And, something that would be that would constitute constructive feedback to the dev team.
Right.
So what are we talking about, by the way?
Hi, Corey.
I'm sorry.
Well, if we'd like, since he's joining now, let's let him say what he's been playing the past week. I know he's been playing World of Warcraft, but
I was just he was asking what we were talking about. That's why I said
yeah,
Avengers by Square Enix.
What is it?
So, what have you been playing this week, Corey, besides World of Warcraft?
Call of Duty earlier in the week, and World of Warcraft. I mean, that's it. Surprisingly, see that guy right there, the one with the headset and the third monitor and shit, did his stupid hype word powers.
The same thing that you do to other people, Corey?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
It's really weird when someone turns it around and uses it on you, right?
It's like, it's weird because it's reversed. But in all honesty, total transparency. So Tyler especially knows I was definitely the biggest critic on World of Warcraft. Just in the way the story is told and everything, and Joe and I had that very much in common. And I hate to say it, maybe it's because the only stuff I've done so far has just been Legion content, right? Or is it Battle for Azeroth?
Battle for Azeroth.
So it's been much more engaging. Very similar to the way Star Wars is. The only difference is Star Wars allows you to have your own choices and makes even the smallest quests have some sort of meaning, or has some sort of, in terms of meaning, it makes you actually care a little bit more about the quest than, hey, go here, kill 7 monsters, return back. Okay, thanks. Here's the next chain of quests.
Yeah.
To do. And I know that that's part of the grind. That's just part of leveling up and everything. And then
That's what an MMO is.
Right, and that's what we were talking about with Star Wars. That's why I like Star Wars, because it makes that grind more enjoyable in just the sense of like, yeah, I'm just gonna go here and kill some guys exactly as I would in World of Warcraft. The only difference is now I'm doing it because this dad is trying to take this mom's son away because the mom wants to take the son and put him into the Sith Academy where she will be revered, and the dad knows what the Sith will become. So now you have to make the choice of whether or not you're going to do it.
I literally just played that mission last week.
Right, and that's the bounty hunter / agent intro. Like, it's one of the first missions you get, and that's what I mean. It's totally just a small grind. It's just there to get experience, whatever. But guess what? If you no matter what you do, you kill a bunch of guys, or you go and you either let the guy go and you get light side points, or you decide you're going to be a bad guy and you fucking kill the guy. That's an additional layer on that small little tiny side quest. And that small little tiny side quest is it's dug in my brain, because now I'm like, what happens to the kid? I want to see what happens to that kid next. And I think there's an Easter egg of him later on if you go to Korriban or what have you, but I don't know. I don't remember enough to be totally honest.
Yeah,
what happens, but that's the stuff I really like. It gave an actual story, and there is actual story with World of Warcraft in those small missions, but it's like the mission we did last night, or no, the night before last night, Tyler, where the guy was like doing the ritual with the one dead dude.
Yeah.
I have no clue why we did that, or what the shit was going on, or why we killed that one shadowy person. It was cool, but that was the point. I don't know why I did it. I did it to get experience. I didn't do it because there was a story there.
Yeah.
Story, I just didn't sit down and read the 14 paragraphs explaining the backstory and stuff. That's the main difference to really take away from the games. And
yeah.
If there was, even without choice, if World of Warcraft had that kind of centrism where every small, and granted that's hard, right? And it might not be hard after they redo the whole, or they revamp the whole XP system.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about how they're revamping the XP system or anything, but from what I've heard, especially from you, Tyler, and from other individuals, is the raid is where you get more story, like the raids and end game content is really where you get a lot extra kind of pumped in there. And I can dig that. That makes sense. So that's something that I've never done in World of Warcraft, which explains why I have the feelings and ideas and ideologies the way I do. So that's something I want to do. I want to change that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just, I know I did that thing where I hype up a game, and I'm glad you're at least giving it a shot. But yeah, I think like you said, a lot of it does come from like end game content or like max level stuff. But if they do anything, if they follow the path they've been on with Shadowlands, and see, you're coming into an expansion late. You're coming in when we have the 100% experience buff, which makes leveling while trying to enjoy the story is inefficient, because you're gonna smash through an entire zone and you're gonna be max level and you're gonna be like, okay, I understand what I did in the zone, but how does it fit in the grand, in the grand scheme of things?
Exactly.
With Shadowlands, if you start from fresh from the beginning and play, it'll be like, oh, okay, I understand why the Venthyr and Revendreth are so upset about not getting their anima from the Maw. Like, I understand why they're struggling so much. And look at that, I've helped them, and now they want me to join their covenant. But ooh, these like really cool owl bros over in Bastion are like pretty nifty, and I like their story about redemption and, you know, Valhalla and all this stuff. But they, you know, they want me to join their covenant. That's actually pretty cool too. And so I think it'll make a little bit more sense to you, like during Shadowlands. But at the end of the day, I'm just glad you're, you know, willing to give it a shot.
Another. There's a, you forgot the word another in there.
True. Very true.
Yeah.
And yeah, I want to see what all the class stuff is about. That was introduced in Legion, wasn't it?
Yeah, the class order halls.
And I kind of remember the Warlock class stuff, Nick, but I don't at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's something I want to look at, especially being a Death Knight. Death Knight stuff's cool.
The Death Knight storyline is amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is damn good.
So that's the other thing, by the way, that I like. You've talked about the class halls and stuff have their own storyline. That to me is right up Star Wars alley, because that's how Star Wars is. Every class has a unique story that can go one of two ways based on your light side or dark side.
Yep.
So I'm very intrigued in doing that, but I want to get to max level and then enjoy my time through it.
For sure. Well, let's see. We talked about the Halo Infinite delay. Just sort of a quick little segue with World of Warcraft being the topic. The 9.0 PTR, like the pre-patch. Hey, thank you. The pre-patch went live on the PTR servers yesterday, which, if Blizzard maintains their cadence from the previous two expansions, that means that technically we should see a launch of Shadowlands 2 months from yesterday.
When?
So what was yesterday? Yesterday was August 11th. So we should see a launch October 11th. I think that is highly, highly optimistic. I think with COVID, they're extending their timelines a little bit, but for Shadowlands, for Legion and Battle for Azeroth, it was always, okay, the pre-patch went live on the PTR on this date, and exactly 2 months later is when we had launch. Do I think that they're going to do, you know, a 4-week pre-patch on the PTR and then a 4-week pre-patch live? No, I think that's optimistic. I think we're going to see. I'm still holding firm to the last week of October, first week of November launch dates. I think that's what we're going to see. Would I like to see it sooner? Yes. Do I feel that they should push themselves to release it sooner? Abso-fucking-lutely not. Blizzard can't afford another bad expansion.
100%.
What expansions were bad? What would you say were bad?
Okay, so Vanilla, Burning Crusade, and Wrath of the Lich King, all good expansions, all good content, good games. Okay. 4th expansion, Cataclysm. Way too much time focused on renovating the old world and bringing and renovating classic content and all that stuff. Not enough built into the actual content of the game. After that came Mists of Pandaria. Widely not liked at launch, but by the end of the expansion, pretty well received. Everyone enjoyed it. It was actually a decent expansion. I look back on it pretty fondly, mainly because I was a freshman in college and was able to dedicate my entire existence to the game. After Mists came Warlords. Bad expansion. Just not a good expansion. Too much focus on the garrison. They literally memed on themselves by putting a tombstone in your graveyard at your garrison of a guy named Ray D. Tier, because the Garrison content got rid of an entire raid tier of the game. Legion, good expansion. I mean,
I really, yeah.
Legion was a great expansion. The class content was amazing. Yeah, the artifact weapons and the artifact power grind it didn't feel good, but in terms of the raids were amazing. The storylines, amazing. Suramar City, amazing. The class order halls, amazing. Just as a whole, great expansion. Battle for Azeroth, they released it half-baked. The Azerite system didn't function properly. They had to completely renovate the system in 8.2, and they gave up on the whole theme of the expansion was supposed to be Horde versus Alliance doing this. And we literally did that for the first 3 months of the expansion, and then it became, oh no, look at this. Put aside your differences and fight for, the world. And it just BFA has been widely regarded as not a very good expansion. And so it fits that A team, B team theory. You had the A team that worked on the only dev team that worked on Vanilla, Burning Crusades, and Wrath. And then Wrath, when they hit their peak, is when they split and did the A team and the B team. And so you had B team develop Cataclysm, not a good expansion. A team developed Mists, good expansion. B team developed Warlords, not a good expansion. A team developed Legion, good expansion. B team did BFA. So if the theory holds, the A team is doing Shadowlands, and we should see a
good expansion,
a large scale good expansion.
Has that been confirmed with A and B teams and stuff?
There is 2 separate dev teams, but Blizzard does not subscribe to the one team is better than the other, even though they have literally demonstrated that one team consistently puts out better content.
As a company, you don't ever want to say one of your own team is not as good. So that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah. And they've said that it's more so a team is the team that is working on current content. So if there's an issue with Battle for Azeroth, the A team is the ones that fix it. But then when Shadowlands launches, if there's an issue with Shadowlands, it's still the A team that fixes it because they only focus on current content. The B team is the development team. They're the ones that are like, okay, hey, we're putting this out. This is down the road. This is the next expansion. Here's what we're working on. Okay, we just shipped Shadowlands. Time to start working on whatever comes after.
I'll be totally honest and transparent. The most surprising thing about World of Warcraft is just that it's still alive. I mean,
16 years and running, baby.
I mean, if they hit 20, and you know what's sad, and this is probably make a lot of nerds mad, and maybe even you, Tyler. I think they should go with World of Warcraft 2. I think they should revamp their engine. Better.
No, you have no conflict for me on that. I think they should too. I think they should do. I think in terms of the storyline and where they're taking it, I could very easily see the expansion after Shadowlands. So what would be 10.0, okay?
Yeah.
I could very easily see that being Blizzard saying, okay, this is where we wrap the story for World of Warcraft. This is where we wrap up World of Warcraft. But because this MMO and this subscription service is what basically keeps our company afloat.
Literally.
Yeah.
We are working on a World of Warcraft 2.0 with a modern engine, with modern systems that will still continue the story and still be that World of Warcraft, but modernized and not 20 years old.
Can you even imagine right now? I know they did a tiny little graphical buff a few years back when they made some of the character models a little more.
Well, they've been doing that every expansion now. Every expansion, the characters get a little bit more fidelity. They can add more polygons. It improves. But at its core, the game is still 16 years old.
Right, exactly. And that's what I mean is you're only hindered by the engine you use to create the game.
Yeah.
And so imagine oh man. I just imagine Frostbite level graphics when you're walking around and the magic and that's I swear to God, that's besides the story of World of Warcraft, my biggest gripe is the graphics. And it's just because I'm 31 years old now and I have a great computer that can process every single wave in Sea of Thieves or Assassin's Creed Assassin's Creed,
Odyssey.
Odyssey. Is it Odyssey with the Greeks?
Yes.
Yeah, but like that's what I mean. And so like it's crazy to me that like oh man, World of Warcraft's such a great game. And then I walk out and I throw an orange ball, and it's like that's Fireball.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, but to play devil's advocate, Blizzard has said that the major reason that they don't do like a major engine overhaul in the middle of the in the game's life cycle is that they still want the game to be completely accessible to people that don't have high-end systems, which I completely get.
I get sort of, right?
Yeah.
Like, is there any argument right now that anyone is buying a 680, a GTX 680?
No.
But it's one of those where the game came out in
04.
So statistically speaking, yes, every single person that plays this game currently has upgraded their system. With that being said, you don't want to put something out and now this person that's played this game from beginning to end and has had this for years, now they can't play this game because their system's not good enough.
I don't think that's the high majority of it. I honestly think that the majority of the reason that they haven't upgraded, not only for that reason, but it's not because of anyone in the United States. I think it's
CJ, is your shit glowing?
What?
I already did the elemental charge.
If your shit's glowing, you should probably see a doctor. That sounds like radiation poisoning.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have slept with her, but
I think part of the reason too is just because their market in China is so massive.
Yeah.
Like that you could buy a 10-year-old computer, something nobody uses, wipe all of the memory and everything, reinstall Windows, reinstall World of Warcraft, and it should theoretically be able to run it at the lowest possible settings.
Yeah.
Boom. Done. Chatted player and an income.
So in college, the way I played World of Warcraft, and I'm still surprised. I'm not surprised, but I'm still kind of surprised. I played it on a notebook laptop.
Yep.
And the only thing is I couldn't do like PvP or like raids or dungeons because it just wouldn't run it. But the main game, dude, I fucking played that for hours on end on that thing.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think they're due for a engine overhaul and an engine upgrade. I just think it'll be at a point where they're like, okay, we are ready to put World of Warcraft as it is to bed, and we're working on a second iteration.
So, question: what about Classic? Like, would it be fair enough to be like, you know what, we'll keep Classic going, but then start something new?
Yeah, even releasing the expansions onto Classic and then shutting down World of Warcraft to make World of Warcraft.
That is exactly my thought line when they announced Classic. When I was sitting at home watching the BlizzCon reveal, when J. Allen Brack did the whole ice cream bit, and actually one of my friends from high school, he Negasomus on Discord, he was there with me, and we both looked at each other and we were like, this is the nail in the coffin. This is how they're going to end World of Warcraft. Because what I think they're going to do is we're going to have Shadowlands and then probably another expansion after, because Shadowlands is setting up the fight between life and death. Because at the end of the day, we've taken out the Burning Legion. Okay. We just defeated one of the last old gods on Azeroth in this expansion. So it's coming to the fight between life and death, because we're literally going to Shadowlands, which is the plane of death. I think what's going to happen is this is going to set up the fight, and then the 10th expansion, version 10.0, or sorry, the 9th expansion technically, is going to be when they're like, okay, this is it. This is the fight for all of existence. This is where the light and the dark are going to clash, life and death. The cosmic foundations of the universe are going to clash. Then they're going to be like, that's it for World of Warcraft. But guess what? We're bringing Burning Crusades to Classic. And then a year after that, they're like, oh, and look at that. We're doing Wrath of the Lich King now. And so they're going to do this. They're basically going to let Classic run the lifespan of World of Warcraft. And then they're going to shut it down. You know, they'll shut down retail as it is, after the ninth expansion, after version 10.0, and that's when they'll say, hey, guess what? We're working on this. Why don't you come try this shiny new thing?
Yeah. Also, is it bad that I kind of want a Warcraft RTS to come back out? Like, not a revamp of the old one, but just like another RTS?
People have been thinking that they might, if not this year, but next year, because this year BlizzCon's going to be pretty much focused around Shadowlands, which I know they canceled the physical BlizzCon in November in Anaheim, but they have come out and finally admitted that we are going to do early 2021. We're going to do a virtual BlizzCon where you're still going to get the panels with all of the, all of the developers and hear all the news and all that stuff. We're still going to do that. It's just going to be delayed and it's going to be virtual only. So I'm excited about that. But I would say probably late next year, if they do a physical BlizzCon, I could easily see them being like, hey, here's Warcraft 4.
Oh, dude.
And they could easily use Warcraft 4 as a lead-in to a WoW
Warcraft
2.0.
Yeah.
So where would they even go with a story like that?
Honestly, I was thinking they could possibly go the route of like Spelljammer from D&D, if you are familiar with Spelljammer.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no.
So Spelljammer is basically like you have the Forgotten Realms on a planet, right? Spelljammer is, hey, let's climb in a spaceship and go to other planets. Because Azeroth at its core is a Titan. It's a Titan that has not been born yet. It is a world soul, right? Mm-hmm. At the end of the 10th expansion, the 9th expansion, version 10.0, at the end of that, I could very easily see during the final fight between light and dark and life and death and all that, at that point is where Azeroth wakes up. Azeroth is born as a full-fledged Titan. She cracks open and the Titan emerges, which wouldn't do very good for things living on the surface of the planet.
Yeah.
But that would be a great stepping stone because they have already talked about other planets in the cosmos. On the the cosmic map in the game, like if you open the map and you right click out as far as you can go, ever since the game's inception, there has always been 15 stars in the on this cosmic map, right?
Mm-hmm.
For Shadowlands, one of them is disappearing.
Oh shit!
And nobody knows why. So what if those are different systems that we can go to? What if those house different planets? What if there's still old gods out there that are threatening the universe? Things like that. So I could easily see them going the route of Spelljammer and saying, little Einsteins, climb on my rocket ship and let's go explore. So that could be a route they take it. Or they could, fuck, man, it's Blizzard. Who knows what they do with their stories?
Yeah. But no, I'd be down. I'd honestly be down for that to go to just expand the universe a little bit more.
Yep. And they already laid the groundwork with the Argus patch in Legion, the last patch of Legion, because it literally, the Lightforged Draenei show up and they're like, hey, guess what? We have spaceships. Why don't you climb on our spaceship and help us go destroy the Legion on this planet over here that was our old home planet? And so you literally climbed on a spaceship and flew through a portal and you showed up there. So they've already sort of laid the groundwork for it. So I could easily see them saying, hey, guess what? We're taking that system and massively expanding upon it in glorious 4K.
Dude, I'd be down.
Yeah, me too. If it's World of Warcraft, Blizzard will continue to get my money.
Oh, yeah.
They just will. It's just the way it works. I can't be convinced otherwise. So yeah, any other news that people want to talk about?
I thought there was, and I don't remember.
I'm sitting in the hospital right now.
That's unfortunate.
She's the one who's in the hospital. I'm just here to support.
How's she doing?
She's pissed. I don't know if you can hear her say that.
Not really.
She wants to go home.
Makes sense.
That was not. That didn't even need to be spoken.
Didn't even need to be smoking.
Well, that too.
Heads up, Bethesda launcher. If you open it up on PC, Quake 2 is free right now. Quake 3 comes out free next week.
Interesting.
Oh boy, a game I will never play.
Yep.
Yup.
But hey, you can add it to your library and say my library is bigger.
True. All about watching them numbers go up, bro.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, other than that, not much video game playing, just working, doing some work stuff.
Yeah,
It's kind of where I'm at. Like I've been doing a fair amount of work, but I haven't been playing as many games as I need to.
Yeah.
For myself, it's essentially just waiting for stuff to come out.
Mm-hmm. It's the waiting game right now.
Like I guess I'm picking up like other than just playing Destiny, I try to pick up like older games and go back and play them. One of the things I'm excited for was when it was first released was the revamped Demon Souls. So I really want to tear into that game. I'm super excited.
Did you play Demon Souls when it first came out?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought so, but I was just double checking.
So yeah, that was why I was super excited when they announced they were doing a remake, like an HD remake of it, and I was like, dude, to be able to go back and play those games, like play those like fights, and like kind of considering the Dark Souls 1 remake, I'm super excited. And they talked about like they're revamping everything. I'm super excited. But it's one of those again. I just gotta wait for it.
Well, if there's not much else we have to chat about, do we want to wrap up the podcast?
That works.
Yeah.
All right.
So I guess till next time.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Super excited for the massive session we're playing next week, guys.
I cannot wait. I hope. I was gonna say that's the thing is I hope that Joe gets a COVID test, tests negative, and then could go.
Great.
Oh.
Kaylee just yelled at him to go get tested. So
Yeah, he needs to get his ass tested.
tell him to get him tested twice. Technically, he should.
Probably, yeah.
All right, I'm back. Sorry, I missed most of that.
Just talking about how Joe needs to get tested. That's it.
Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, I've been sick for like 3 days," and I was like, "And
Yeah,
you still haven't gotten tested? Don't you work at a place where there's literally a testing facility in the parking lot?"
And he had a fever of 102 the first day.
He needs to get
Second day he had a fever, but it wasn't. It was at like 100. And then like his fever broke, so he went back to work. And then
I heard Kaylee in the back. I heard that.
Yeah. And then he started coughing and said it was starting to get hard to breathe on.
He's got it.
Days. I was like, get your shit tested.
Yeah, he's got it.
So the scary thing is, he was around all of us. He was around all of us.
Well, no, like this didn't start for him until like Friday.
Doesn't really matter. It could take.
Because it takes 10 to 12 days for it to incubate. So yeah, I mean that's no bueno. Yeah, he's more than welcome to remote in.
Oh, 100%.
Next week for the game. I know that it'll be hard for him to like role play and stuff, but luckily, I mean, it's going to be a dungeon crawl. So
I was going to say it's a dungeon crawl. There's not going to be too much role playing to begin with.
Yeah, it's going to be mostly combat and stuff. Yeah, that is hardcore. He's got it.
Yep.
and he needs to get his shit tested and get on a treatment plan now before, like I said, before he gets rushed to the hospital with a tube down his throat.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not good.
What a dude.
What a dude.
What a dog.
But yeah, until next time, I'm Tyler.
Yeah, I'm Nick.
I'm CJ.
I'm late, Corey.
Bye, late Corey.
Bye, late Corey.
Bye.
And yeah, I guess CJ. Let's keep playing this game.
All right.
Peace out, guys.
Later,
Bye.
Corey.